So here's a good side-by-side comparison before we put the new feeder in to be used. And you can see pretty clearly the size difference. And you can see the damage where I've welded new uprights in there, but they've really bent it. Well, so it's been a year since we put this bale ring into service. Remember a year ago we titled a video, "The Last Bale Feeder You'll Ever Need." And so I thought it would be a good time now, a year later, to take a look at this bale feeder and see if it lived up to the hype. We bought the feeder from a farmer out in western Minnesota who builds them on the side and uses heavier steel and heavy rubber skirting to keep the hay in. We primed it and painted it and put it out in the pasture to see how it would work. So you see there's a little bit of wear on the paint, and that's just my paint job. But the overall bale ring is in excellent shape. No damage at all from either the cows or the tractor. There, when you lift it up with the tractor, you can see it's solid all the way down to the bottom. No apparent deterioration at all. When you look inside, that bottom ring looks like new. Now, by contrast, this bale ring is one of our newer ones, commercial bale rings. And you can see it's got a lot of problems. You can see where I had to weld in. It's got this big bump here, a bend from picking it up. And then look at the cow damage right there. Cow's pushing into it. This whole third of it here is dented. And there's more supports missing down below. So one of the things I was worried about is that this rubber skirt down at the bottom would come loose. But boy, it is just solid as can be. It's hard to see right now because there's still a little bit of hay that they haven't eaten in this one. But even at the seam, you can see the skirt has stuck on and hasn't come loose at all. And this is another example of the same style of bale ring. It's got a bunch of dents in it, spots where either the tractor or the cows have pushed on it, and then a lot more welds. You can see that's not even the right kind of metal. I've welded that support in down there, and it's twisted and bent enough that it's just a matter of time from cow abuse and being frozen down. You can see these have been tightened, but it's all twisted. And that's just from the stress of what they go through on a daily basis. This one too, you can tell I welded, that's actually a round piece right there. I welded this all back together, getting it ready for this season. And we'll be lucky if this makes it through this season without breaking again. I haven't listed the name of the farmer who makes these feeders because, frankly, you can find somebody who makes feeders like this just about any part of the country where you look. As for cost, well, in our case, these cost about the same as the big box store feeders. So there's my review that I promised of bale rings. I think it's been a pretty good buy, and by the way, you can see the cows have decided that's their favorite bale, and they'll be gathered around there until it runs out, probably by this time tomorrow. So while we're out here feeding around bales, it's a good time to bring some bedding, some of that old hay we've talked about. You can see the bedding is pretty packed down here, and the hay bits of it they've eaten. So with weather on the way, we want them to be nice and toasty warm. There, serious bedding in front of the windbreak and the little wind shelter that should keep them happy when the wind kicks up tomorrow and the next day. Well, living in the weatherman's nightmare that is northern Minnesota, we got 2 days of rain instead of 2 days of snow, and now we're back to a barely frozen quagmire out here in the cow pasture. And temperatures forecast in the upper 30s and low 40s for the foreseeable future. So much for plowing snow anytime soon. We'll be retreating into the shop to work on some shop projects in the coming week, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get the skid steer out and do any brush cutting. But before that, we've got to haul some steers to slaughter, and we'll be back with that hopefully in the next few days. Thanks for watching. It's a strange winter, hopefully not the beginnings of a drought. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Hey, boys. These are next year's steers for slaughter.